It's the Bro Show. It's Lucas and Jacob. I just want to give a shout out to Stacy. To be completely honest, I don't remember her name, but she left a comment last week.
Say the classic thing. I'm so bad at names.
I am so bad at names, even if I meet you in real life. So if I'm just seeing your little comment, and I'm pretty sure it was a fake photo, so I'm not going to remember a name when there's a little cartoon photo as their username profile picture.
But now we're going to play devil's advocate. You just don't remember anyone's name because you don't care about anyone.
I know.
I just don't know what the truth is.
I am
I'm
a
joking.
sociopath, so I don't only think about myself.
The only name I know is my own name.
No, but I actually feel like I'm just saying a meme on Facebook or something. But like, I actually can't remember anyone's name because I actually feel like my brain is like, it actually won't absorb that information at certain times. Like if I'm actually meeting someone socially or like a friend of a friend or something, I feel like I'll remember their name. But if I'm talking about like if you're at like a convention, like I'm picturing like, I don't even know when the last time this has happened to me. I'm picturing being in like a hotel ballroom, like you're in like a networking event and like you're meeting people. How are you going to remember anyone's name? Because I feel like your brain just doesn't accept their name into your mind when they say their name.
Yeah, there's definitely people that would remember everyone's name, I bet, and like they're so good with that, but that to me would be so difficult.
And they always, all those little men from the 1920s who wrote all those books. What was it like? What's that one that like is the most famous book that man in the 1920s wrote?
Oh, like the one about like how to become rich or something? Or like
no,
what?
It's just like how to like, I forgot what
how to
is.
win.
It's not Think and Grow Rich. It's some other one, like just how to be a good person or something.
That
how to
was
be
one
successful or something. But he always says like, you have to remember people's names. So that's why we aren't successful.
Frick.
But anyway, back to Stacy. I just want to welcome her back to the Bro Show community because she wrote saying, my husband wouldn't let me watch you guys because he said you were making me dumber. But guess what? He left last week and we're getting divorced. Now I have to catch up on all the podcasts. Love you guys. I'm so happy to be. And that's where I cut it off. She wrote some more stuff, but that's where I cut off the comment.
Okay.
But I want to welcome her in. And also, I don't want to be rough on her because she just got divorced. But also, just going forward, if somebody tries to make you stop watching the Bro Show, you need to divorce them immediately. Like, I feel like, what if this was like a year ago?
What if?
And it's been 1 year she hasn't watched just because of this asshole husband.
What if this was like 2018?
And like, I don't want to victim blame.
I know, like, I actually think it's cool that you're evolving and stuff, but it does lead to this thing where obviously if you hate this podcast, there's no point in listening. But if you do like the podcast and someone says it makes you dumb listening and you listen to them, it just makes me think that I just wish that didn't happen.
Now I'm just thinking, are they watching us out of spite to the ex? Like, do they even enjoy this? There's more like, fuck you, ex-husband, but it's like you know what I mean? Like, is this, are we just now a rebound? Is now,
yeah.
I'm just feeling used.
Because is she sharing this link in the text message thread with her ex-husband saying like, yeah, like these people actually were like always way smarter than you or something? Like, are we being a pawn in a game?
I also especially hate the husband because he said you were making me dumber. Like, it'd be one thing if he said, this podcast is making you dumb. This podcast is going to make you stupid. But if it's saying, this podcast is making you stupider, dumber, is stupider a word? Stupider.
It's
more
probably
stupid.
not, but like it should be.
But like, I'm just saying it's just bad. Like, he already thought she was dumb. Like, thank God this is over. And I'm just mad now. I'm actually pissed because I already know that comment's been deleted and I know she already got back with him. You know what I mean? And she already unsubscribed to the podcast. So honestly, cut this out. Fuck her and fuck him. I'm just kidding. We love you all. And also, like, again, I don't want to be rough on someone who just went through a divorce.
Let's just say is her name Stacy, or did you just make that up?
I made that up.
Oh yeah, because even though I was being rough on her, saying like it sucks that happened and stuff, but I actually do just feel bad for you because you probably believed him that it made you
I
dumber.
know.
And saying, like Lucas said, using the word dumber is even more rude than saying makes you dumb because it's saying that you're already dumb. But you are not dumb.
I'm sure you apparently learned a lot of other lessons from this marriage, but the biggest lesson would be if anybody ever tells you to stop listening to the Bro Show, they are wrong. They're in a cult. This is not a cult. That's what we always try to tell people. Yes, your family is going to say it's a cult. Yes, your friends are going to say it's a cult. This is not a cult. They are a cult.
Wait, is there any
That's what
websites?
actually happens in a cult.
Is there any websites? Because I was picturing we had a website called thebroshow.com and it had a FAQ. Is there any websites or foundations that on the FAQ, it's such a commonly asked question that this is one of the questions. Is this, like, why is this not a cult? And they answer in paragraphs and stuff. Do you think that's on anyone's website, or is that's too out there to put that on your website because you're basically admitting that it's a cult? Like,
I'm trying to think.
that's more of something that you would say when they go to the, like, cult building or whatever, wherever the cult is. Because I feel like putting that on your website is kind of risky.
If people are actually Googling, like, for example, is SoulCycle a cult? Like, maybe having it on your website, SEO purposes, you'd show up first in the search results. Like, I think that's what Tana Mongeau, that's why she said she called her podcast canceled, because she got canceled so many times. So then if she gets canceled in the future, it'll just go to her podcast. So they'll never find out why she got canceled. You know what I mean?
We should just title this podcast Fred Speech Impediment Podcast.
Oh, then that's the thing people Google about us
so
most.
that should just be the podcast name, I feel like, if that is true.
And then also for these cult businesses, someone should start a cult and it should be called like, LOL, this is a cult. So then there's no way to search if it's a cult because it just goes to that goes to their actual business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a little hack if you're trying to start a cult.
The cult could be titled Netflix Cult Documentary, because that's such a search from people want to watch a cult documentary. So I would just name my cult HBO Cult Documentary, Hulu Cult Documentary, Cult Documentary on streaming. Cult documentary on streaming might be the most SEO.
No, but I feel like that'd actually be a good idea if you were starting a little small hotel business. And you just called it Netflix Cult Documentary, and everyone Googles that, and then it would go to the hotel and it would say, okay, we all watch these documentaries because we don't want to be a part of a cult, but do you want to experience it for one weekend? Because you know everyone does want to join a cult for one weekend. This would be a hotel where it's actually ran by a sociopath cult person, but there's people keeping them in check, so they can't keep people there for more than 3 days. But you experience the cult for 3 days. That would actually be such a good business.
I know.
I want to experience it.
But you sign something ahead of time that even if you do get brainwashed, they're going to kick you out after 3 days. So even if you do say, I want to spend another 3 days, they're actually going to forcibly kick you out.
Oh, no, they would bring you to a room and somebody would talk you out of it. Like somebody just so persuasive would say, girl, you actually fell for that shit. And they would just tell you all about how it's fake and you'd get unbrainwashed immediately.
Yeah, I would. I don't know what I'm getting reminded of, but I remember I was Googling something and I saw something like this. I don't know if it was a fast food or a restaurant or something, but people have done shit like that. Like,
wait, a fast food company did a cult?
I'm not talking about the cult thing, talking more about the SEO thing. I have seen people do that before.
I'm trying to think.
I don't think of like when a
pop star's done it. I'm thinking of Matt Rife. He's not a pop star. He's a comedian, but he claimed, like, everyone always Googles Matt Rife OnlyFans, so he named his first special Matt Rife OnlyFans. So then all the gay guys searching that would just be forced to watch his comedy.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe then they'd think it was funny and become a fan, if not just his looks. That was his goal.
That's another way to do it, though. Like titling a podcast "Jacob Cruikshank Naked" and being like, everyone always Googles it, because you know how that's kind of a flex thing. Like, even saying OnlyFans,
everybody wants it.
You know, saying your special is called OnlyFans. Like, basically, like, everyone wants to see me naked.
I know, because sadly that isn't a reality for me. I know if you Google Lucas Cruikshank, the first 5 results, none of them are going to be OnlyFans. Like, just try it right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna do like a private browser, so it just is fully like none of my search history.
I know for a fact it's not
Google
gonna be.
Lucas Cruikshank every day. It's fine. These are the first ones. Yours, they literally aren't even like yours are actually like kind of boring.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
Lucas
it's nothing.
Cruikshank movies and TV shows. Lucas Cruikshank net worth. Lucas Cruikshank now. Lucas Cruikshank age.
Oh yeah, see, what am I? I can't do anything with that. It's nothing juicy.
And then mine is, let's see what mine is. Jacob Cruikshank voice, Jacob Cruikshank wife, Jacob Cruikshank speech.
Oh,
it's probably because I joke about it a lot. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because you do say you have like a kid in videos and a wife, so people probably are just like, I don't know if this is a joke or you actually have a wife.
Yeah, I'm not gonna conform or deny. One of them is Jacob Cruikshank America's Got Talent. I don't know.
Wait, did you go on there and like you don't remember and you didn't tell anyone?
Someone must have a name similar to mine.
Oh.
And then, yeah, but maybe I could see like I did go on it when I was 11 and I just forgot.
I know, it actually could be a reality.
America's Got Talent. And if you're on America's Got Talent, you would always be able to have some show. It might only be a 30-minute show where the tickets are $5. You'll always be able to have a show in Las Vegas, Atlantic City, Branson, Missouri, or like Orlando. I don't know. Just one of those
Yeah,
places.
I actually feel like that's one of those shows where you are famous. You're booked for life. You're not famous for life, but you are booked for life. You're always consistently making an income, whether it's at theme parks, carnivals, YMCA's. Like no matter what it is, somebody will book you.
Yeah, but I guess I feel like it has to be interesting though. Like what if your talent was, I guess, well, I was just going to say, what if your talent's like lip syncing or juggling, but it's like, those are cool talents. I would pay to see someone do both those.
I vividly remember being in middle school and watching America's Got Talent while eating dinner at grandma's house. Because I used to stay at her house sometimes. And we were watching America's Got Talent while eating dinner. And it was this guy with a lawnmower balanced on his chin, and he was throwing watermelons into the lawnmower. And I don't know what his name is. I could probably easily just Google watermelon lawnmower man, America's Got Talent. I want to see him on tour this year.
What? Okay, so say what he was doing again.
Okay, he had a lawnmower, a lawnmower. You know the ones you just push in the yard. He had that balance on his chin. By the where you hold your hands on the lawnmower was balanced on his chin, fully going. And then he threw watermelons into the lawnmower, and they would explode, obviously, and it was just fun to look at. So that one is a little bit more of a liability. Like if I owned a theme park, I don't know if I would hire him because I'd be like, I don't want ants everywhere. But I'd say you can throw other stuff in there.
Yeah, I feel like
I guess you could just lay down saran wrap.
You know, I would hire that person, but they'd have to sign like a whole thing being like, this activity kind of seems like you could die. So.
Oh, and then I would say, I know you're going to want to ask some people from the audience to throw the watermelons in, and I would say we can't cover that with our insurance.
Oh, because what if they hit the lawnmower in a certain way?
Yeah, the lawnmower falls down and gets the whole first row cut up into pieces.
I remember one of my middle school math teachers said that they went to high school with, it was probably, but somewhere in Nebraska, I'm assuming. But do you remember this video of the guy on a pogo stick? And while he was on the pogo stick, he was solving a Rubik's Cube. It was like one of those viral
She went to
videos.
high school with him?
Yeah, he went to high school with him, but it was one of those like viral videos. Like, well, I remember he said like, I don't even know how it got brought up. It wasn't like he was like mentioning it to say like, oh my gosh, he just randomly mentioned it.
Wasn't trying to get clout from it.
Yeah, I don't think so, but why would you want clout from middle schoolers? But I remember I Googled it later that day, and it was one of those videos that was like I just would assume you would have seen it because it was one of those videos where it did have like, I swear, like somewhere around like 50 million views or maybe 20 million, and it was like a minute long. Do you remember? You don't remember that?
It doesn't ring a bell. Like that's not like evolution of dance. Remember that guy? It was just like some like 40-year-old guy, or I don't know how old he was, but it was some guy, and he was on a stage, and then he just did all these. It was like during it. I don't know what this was for, but he would do all of these different styles of dances, and that was like I think the #1 YouTube video for like a long time.
Wait, in the same video, he did like salsa, tango.
It was just a guy in like a pink T-shirt, I think, and like it just started with him going like, I don't even notice, like doing like some 60s dance. Then it would go to the 80s and the 90s, and it was like, hit me, baby, one more time. I might be just completely butchering this because this literally was when I was like 11 when I watched this, but it was something like that, just going through all these different styles of dances. Like, it's so funny how like that is so entertaining, but I would never picture that being the #1 video today. You know what I mean?
I feel like that content would still be so viral on Facebook. Like I could see the video that you're describing has 100 million views on Facebook, and it was uploaded 8 months ago.
Well, that's even like that Chocolate Rain guy. Like his voice was just so low, so everyone was like, "Whoa!"
Oh yeah,
no, that's just true. That's what you always think. Like you always think that's not what viral videos are today. But then a new platform comes out like TikTok, and you realize humans are still the same, but we want to see a man dance all the different styles of dances. We want to see someone with a low voice sing. We all still love that shit. Somehow, you just need to find a new app's algorithm to hit with it.
Oh, even like I remember watching so many of these videos, like a ghost pops up. I don't know what website, even on YouTube, maybe I'm not aware, but there's like for sure so many 30-second videos of like people faking ghost stuff, of like a chair rocking. Because I feel like people that are 12 and stuff are always going to love those videos.
Oh, that'll just always be the 12-year-old type content. Oh my God, something pops out of the screen.
Or like the classic one, it would show a living room, but this old style living room, and the rocking chair would start going back and forth, and there'd be text at the bottom. How's that happening? Or some shit like that. Like stuff like that will always go viral because looking back, it's like obviously it was just all fake and stuff. But when it's just as fun believing it. You know?
I know, so fun. But speaking of OnlyFans, I can't believe I haven't used this as a flex yet as a podcast title. I got DM'd by OnlyFans, and they said like people want you to make an account.
They said you could make like literally how much Bad Baby made, right?
Yeah, they said, so do you want to be rich? And they said, they sent a photo of a G-Wagon. They said, do you want to own this in a month?
Wait, are you joking?
I'm not kidding.
Was that actually the like
and then they sent a photo of this really hot girl, and they said, do you want to date her in a month? Because you're so rich, she'll want to date you. And it said, start on OnlyFans, you'll have enough money, all this will be your reality. Okay, none of that happened, but they actually made it very...
I actually believe the G-Wagon part, because I could see them just being like... And then in the bottom it says, that isn't guaranteed, but like maybe.
No, it actually was very classy and nothing to do with like adult videos. It said, OnlyFans, like, let me guess you've heard of it. They said, that's not what we're about. They said, OnlyFans can be anything. It can be cooking videos. It can be extra videos. That it's basically they were just pitching it like a Patreon.
That's what Jorinda did from Real Housewives of New York. I think she decided OnlyFans when she cooked.
Oh yeah, so that's true. They were. I don't even know. Are they still trying to lean into that? This was like a couple of years back. I feel like now they're just like, oh, if you're gonna join, show your boobs, or no one cares.
But I'm guessing it is like if you do want to use it for that. I mean,
yeah.
I guess which one has the better ratio?
Oh, the best payout.
Yeah, like which one is like 80% your money, 20% their money? Like that's all the big thing, you know?
Oh yeah, I feel like if you were going to make an OnlyFans about not porn, it really wouldn't make sense because I feel like more people would be likely to join a Patreon because they wouldn't, even if it's just them looking at their credit card statement, they might be like, oh, what if like my grandma sees it? Like they want to see a Patreon on there. Like I feel like if they aren't already using OnlyFans, they aren't just going to randomly make an account.
Because I've thought it would be
Someone's calling me.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so scared. Who is this? Wait, it's Mom?
Oh.
Hello?
Hey, is Jacob with you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're doing the podcast.
Oh, okay. It said his phone went straight to voicemail. I was just a little worried.
Oh, it's because my phone's on silent upstairs.
Oh, you thought he got murdered?
Yeah, tell him thank you for emptying the dishwasher. I told him not to.
Oh.
No problem.
Oh my God. Well, okay.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, bye. Love you.
Love you.
Bye, I love you.
We planned that because Jacob just said
I've been getting some bad press lately.
Yeah, he wanted to get some more people just thinking he's a good person. So we planned. That was also scripted.
I feel like your phone vibrating. It felt like for some reason, like I know we just were kind of acting, but I kind of was leaning into it, like doing a method acting, and I felt like I was in When a Stranger Calls because I was like, just two boys home alone.
Yeah.
I know it's daytime, but like, can anything bad happen at any time?
I know, but that actually is a thing since I like never call anyone. I only text basically. So if I did randomly get a call, I do kind of get scared. Not during the day usually, but like since we're in a basement. But if it was 10 o'clock at night and I was alone in the house and my phone started vibrating, immediately panic would go through my body.
Oh, that's why I almost always want to have my phone on silent because I would rather look at my phone and someone random called me 15 minutes ago than have it ring. Because then I just picture the scene from When a Stranger Calls when isn't she inside this like kind of fancy house babysitting? And it's like all glass, I swear, and that's what makes it scary. And that movie, I remember I watched it like 4 years ago because I was like, I used to love that movie as a kid. Like, it's so funny, like, we know, like, these realizations is probably an international realization. When you realize a song or a movie wasn't as big as you thought it was. Maybe that movie was big, but I always viewed it as, like, oh, it for sure made, like, as much as the Avengers and stuff. But it's what, like, when you realize, like, oh, it wasn't as big as I thought. But I'm guessing that movie was big.
But I feel like
it's not as big as...
Every listener of this podcast has watched that.
Oh, okay, so maybe I'm wrong about that then. I just assumed
that,
it
like,
wasn't
When a Stranger Calls, that brunette girl, like, I feel like that is iconic.
I know,
That's our generation's Scarface. our
Yeah.
generations, like we're from the exact same generation.
Well, we could be part of the same generation because generations string like 12 years. We just aren't.
It would be a mixture of, you just have to mix both.
Yeah, because like I always think it's funny when I'm like 24, but I'm pretty sure like Gen Z or whatever would go down to like 15 or something. And I always think that's literally, and I think Gen Z would go to like 28. I don't know, 20, I don't know. But it's so many years.
Oh, yeah, I always thought that was weird when I was like 27 or something. And I've heard that some millennials were 40. And I remember just being like, what? Like, I didn't really get it.
Yeah, because then I always just think like if it's actually being like studied, these generations, like isn't it actually so different growing up with YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram when you're 12 versus growing up with TikTok? I don't know. I feel like TikTok could be more insane.
Oh,
But
yeah.
maybe I'm wrong.
What was I going to say about, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing something and I was excited that Miranda Cosgrove was going to be in some A Stranger Calls type movie. And I remember being actually excited. This was like 2018. I remember I was just bored one day and I was like, what's she up to? So I went to IMDb, Miranda Cosgrove. And I was like, fuck yes. I remember being so excited because I forgot what the title of the movie was, but it was her and like with a phone, I think. And it was a horror movie. And I remember thinking, okay.
She needs to do a whole movie.
Whatever, I just thought, okay, when this comes out, it's going to be so big. But I don't know if that movie got scrapped because the director ended up getting canceled. What happened? Like, was like the second main character. What's that guy's name? I'm trying to think of some canceled person. Like, I can't think of anyone.
Yeah.
But and I'm just thinking, like, why did this get pushed? Because, like, this would have been massive. Now I need to
that
figure
could
out.
be next podcast episode.
I kind of like we
What
might
should
need to do a Googling.
What should I Google? Like, I
Just
don't
go
know
to
what
Miranda
Google.
Cosgrove IMDb and I'll recognize the name. Because I remember I was so excited. She was going to be in some horror movie where it's all about, maybe it got canceled because that actually happened to her in real life.
Oh, okay. When you were talking about this, I was going to say, I think it might have got canceled because didn't something horrible happen to her in real life?
I remember she was on the Whitney Cummings podcast and she talked about somebody lit themselves on fire in her backyard.
Okay, so what would it be on IMDb? On previous?
Yeah, and it
Would
would be
it
on her
still be in this?
filmography.
Okay, so 2018, you said?
Yeah, can I just scroll?
History of them.
I feel like I'll be able to see it by just the photo. It's not Despicable Me. Oh, The Intruders.
Okay, so did it come out?
It was 2015, guys. I had the dates wrong. The Intruders, PG-13. Look at the photo. It's her all scared.
Wait, so we could watch it then?
After the traumatic loss of her mother, a teenage girl tries to uncover the dark secrets behind her new home. Okay, so this is more of like Austin Butler was in it. He's the only other person I recognize. But yeah, it must just not have gotten a wide release. Because that gives the idea, that gives the vibe of nowadays Night Swim, like a wide release, Blumhouse. And it would just be big.
Like a movie I want to watch, even though it has such bad ratings, but I still want to watch it. It's just because I love the promo for it. Is like Lady in the Woods or something.
Oh,
and
Lady in Black?
Yeah, and I looked it up. It has like a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I still want to watch it. I just love the types of movies like they are so predictable, but I still want to watch
but
it.
I'm not kidding. I don't know what it is. I feel like this is the thing with horror movies. Like most of them don't hit with you, like you individually, but then some of them for some reason hit. Like I know someone out there, they think of Night Swim, and to me, I'm like, that movie, I'm not scared of it. Like I'm not scared of a lady at the bottom of the pool, but I know there's somebody out there who their stomach starts hurting when they think of Night Swim, because when I saw the advertisement for a Lady in Black, I actually got scared. I'm not kidding.
Oh no, I can relate to this because I think I was watching YouTube a few nights ago and that was the ad.
I think that's what it
and
was.
It actually kind of scared me because I was like, it just is scary.
No, wasn't it during the day and some girl was in like a force?
Yeah.
Said, what is that girl doing?
It gave the vibe of you were like in like a cornfield in Nebraska and you had a tiny house.
Yeah, and it was her saying, "Who is that?" And then they looked out the window and it was this lady in black, all black clothing. Didn't she even have a black thing covering her face?
You can't see what she looks like.
And I'm not gonna I actually got scared.
I saw something on I forgot what I saw it on, but I saw like a photo that movie theaters are promote, like they're doing promotion at the theater by just having like a chair and like it's probably just a mannequin, but like they have someone covered in black and stuff.
Like an actual person is doing it.
I think it's just probably a mannequin, but maybe it's an
Oh my
actual
god!
person.
But something about that movie, I don't know what about my like psychology, like the thought of somebody being in like this weird outfit and it's all blowing in the wind, especially in a cornfield environment during the day, especially.
Yeah,
I'm
to me,
so
it made it
scared.
more scared that it was more scary how it was during the day.
And just imagine even just somebody, imagine if it was lady in, I was going to say lady in blue. That doesn't hit as hard, but lady in green. Like imagine a lady in green. I'd be so scared.
Oh, I'm not even, this sounds so dumb, but to me it would actually be scary. What if it was called Lady in Gucci? And I'm picturing this girl with a Gucci mask and it looks like she has so much lip filler. If they did it and her lips were painted black, wouldn't that actually be so scary?
Oh, that would be. Especially if she was in a cornfield environment because they'd be like, why are you here? And then you'd be scared because you'd be like, why, how did she get here?
What if they made it so like mean and just actually like it was just called Lady in Freckles and it made Freckles so scary?
That'd be funny.
But it just would be, the reason why it would be funny is because like so many people actually do just have freckles.
I wonder if it was a bimbo in the backyard.
But somehow they made it so scary.
Some double D bimbo in the backyard. Like, would that be scary? I feel like that still would also be a little bit frightening.
If you added it in a certain way.
Also, shout out to my bimbo hat. Shout out Linda.
Bimbo.
So there is a bro named Linda. She has a clothing store called Creepy Gals. And she asked if she could advertise on the podcast. And I was like, girl, you don't got to advertise. We're buying it. We're going to pay to advertise it. You know what I mean?
And then she sent us some free stuff.
So I bought a hat and then she sent us some other stuff. So just shout out to Creepy Gals Linda. She gave me my bimbo hat.
I know, it looks cool because it says bimbo, but then it looks kind of frightening because like the bee has like devil horns or something.
Oh, does it actually?
Yeah, look at it.
Oh, I love it. And it's all furry. Linda.
I like it.
So the bimbo in the backyard.
That's probably going to be the next movie. So
yeah, no, that would be scary.
There was a few other comments I wanted to mention from last week's episode. Someone said that. So for some reason, we just were saying like, organic peanut butter is so annoying. Lucas was saying it's so annoying, but I was like, oh, I still want to use it. A bunch of people said that if you turn it upside down, you don't have to deal with mixing it.
Yeah, so these are these natural ass peanut butters where it's just a thick layer of oil on top and you have to mix each time. They said if you just flip it over, it's all good to go. But then we were talking about this and we were saying, but then what if the oil is all on the bottom? You know what I mean? Like I want every bite to have the same macros.
Well, I guess they said it would soak through just when it's upside down. But this is my question that I'm wondering. So I believe it. I'm going to try it sometime, probably. This is the question, though. Why haven't these organic peanut butter brands why don't they disclose this on the packaging? So this is what leads me to the thing of like, is this not totally real? Because why haven't... have these organic peanut butter companies done tests and it's like not always working? Because why wouldn't they just put that on the packaging?
I just say flip it upside down for best results.
Yeah, because it sounds genius. I just want to know why they don't just say that.
I know. I actually am confused about that. And I'd have to have you test it or I'd have to have one of the bros like leave a detailed comment or I'm just going to stick to Jif. Non-natural peanut butter. But I actually did order it from the grocery store yesterday and I noticed it said no preservatives. So mine's kind of Jif is still a little bit natural.
Oh, okay. And then another comment that I saw is it's going back to the thing of soda tack or so to speak.
So to speak.
Yeah, so to speak. Someone had a butter one that I like. This actually makes sense to me, but I just never thought it. They said that when people would say floor to ceiling windows. First of all, like this term has been used so much in the past few years that like, I get why this is a new one because floor to ceiling windows have probably always been a thing, but I just starting in 2017, I swear they became in the vocabulary every other sentence. But they thought people were saying Florida ceiling windows like the state Florida.
Orlando, Florida ceiling windows.
But yeah,
now you actually say it. At first, when I read this out loud, I was thinking, okay, I don't get it. Now that I actually said it out loud, Florida ceiling windows. Florida ceiling, it actually sounds the exact same.
And the reason why I understand it is because if someone, let's say I didn't ever hear this phrase before, and someone said, okay, this house, so I was looking at houses, and they said, this is Florida ceiling windows. The reason why I might actually think they're saying Florida is because I picture Florida, warm weather all year round.
Yeah.
I would see the window and I would think, it's such a huge windows. It goes from the floor to the ceiling. They call it Florida windows because every house in Florida most houses in Florida have these because they're giant and people want to be around the sun and get the sun exposure. So
it actually totally makes sense because naming anything after Florida or California, Miami, like those will always just make sense. It could be Florida countertops and we'd all just be like, oh, we get it. And California, carpet. But if it was like South Dakota countertops, you'd be like, huh, what? Like you'd actually stop the sentence and say, what's going on? But if it's ever Florida or California themed anything, we all just accept it as a society.
Oh, yeah, but if there was like, well, yeah, I was going to say if there's like Kansas themed something, but I guess there's probably Kansas barbecue places all around the U.S.
There's some exceptions, like even Texas. Like if it was like Texas doors, I'd be like, I wouldn't really question it.
I could kind of see like a restaurant, this would be on the menu. It would say, as a side, cob of corn on the cob. Cob on the corn. But it would say in italic letters and very thin print, grown in Nebraska. I could see them actually doing that because it's not really that known that Nebraska is a corn state, but it's like enough known. It's known enough where people would understand why I would say that.
But if we ever talked about this on the podcast, how Nebraska, I don't know if it's because we're from Nebraska, but like, okay, my nose just itches. I have to do it. But what were we talking about?
We're talking about something really important.
No, I'm scared because it actually was so important. Oh, Nebraska.
Yeah. Okay, you were going to say something about Nebraska.
Have we talked about this on the podcast, how Nebraska, I don't know if it's just because we're from here, but I feel like it's mentioned all the time. Is this just because we're from here, that's we notice it? But I swear whenever anybody is on a podcast and they're saying, what am I going to do, move to Nebraska? Like that's where it's always the go-to. Or they say like, okay, like I know LA is crowded or I know New York is so expensive, but what am I going to do? Move to Nebraska? Like I'm just going to deal with this. Like I feel like that's like it's like a common, I remember even when we were watching Family Guy growing up, they'd always say, Nebraska, like who lives there? Like, is this actually something people mention a lot or do we just notice it because we're from Nebraska?
I feel like it could be mentioned like quite frequently, but the reason why I kind of understand it is because first of all, it's obviously so random, but if you look at the United States map, it actually is in the exact, like not the exact, but I was about to say that, but it's like pretty much in the middle. So it makes sense why it would get mentioned a lot because it's in the middle and also most people have never even been there. So.
Yeah, probably you never been there. You never really heard anything about it. But the reason I was confused is I always thought the go-to would be Kansas because of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, well, I feel like they do get mentioned.
Kansas is too like mainstream.
Like I feel like when people do say, "Where am I going to move?" they mention a few states like Montana, even like South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa.
Yeah,
but I want someone to do a poll with like literally 10 million people across the U.S. What do you think would get voted as the most boring state? Like, would Nebraska actually be voted as number one? By boring, I just mean people are just saying, I think that state's boring. It's not any science. It just is what people think.
Probably because I guess this actually might be a thing because I remember even everyone was thinking it was funny in Nebraska a few years ago. They actually were going to lean into that in the marketing saying, yeah, I don't know why anyone would move here. Like, what was the marketing going to be?
So the slogan of the state is a good life, right? But they were going to change it to it's not meant for everyone.
Oh, because they're going to kind of lean into we know everyone is talking shit.
Yeah.
And we're not going to try to convince them.
I don't know if they did that or not, but yeah, maybe they did.
Oh, yeah. But I have to know now, like, is it just because how, like, if you have a Volkswagen Bug, all of a sudden you think you see Volkswagen bugs everywhere.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely part of it. Like, because even I'm just thinking about when I'm looking at a menu, if they do mention Nebraska on a menu, there was like this one steak restaurant we were at where they mentioned Nebraska on the menu. Like, I immediately noticed that because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm from Nebraska. It was like, so if someone's from Oklahoma, if they saw, I just would never really know this thing is from Oklahoma because I guess I'm not attached to it, which makes sense.
But speaking of Florida ceiling windows and stuff, Nebraska is at least known for steak. Because people always say Omaha Steaks.
The beef steak.
And then even going to Catch Steak in West Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. On the menu in big bold letters, it says, steak from Nebraska. So we're the steak capital.
I don't know when the last time I actually ate Omaha Steaks is. I probably should eat it more because it's literally like part of the state we reside in.
I would say I've never tried it, but probably
I'm guessing sometime. People hype that up and say, I get it delivered on dry ice every other week because I have it like so. Like,
but I'm guessing at some point in our childhood, our parents were subscribed.
Yeah, well, like just I for sure we've had it once. I don't know though.
That's weird. What if we haven't though?
I just feel like we have, but yeah, that could be a possibility. We haven't.
Omaha Steaks. What does your state have? We won.
Remember on Florida Obama's show that was like a drama? They were getting so mad because they were saying, my state's better. And I remember thinking, like, they're like so passionate about the
Oh, in Floribama Shore?
Yeah, there was like a whole drama about them people fighting over states.
Oh, over how they grill it and stuff? I feel like people
no,
do get...
no, it was a fight over what state's better. Like it didn't
Oh,
have
what
to do.
state? I thought you said what steaks better.
Oh no, state.
Oh, Alabama or Florida?
I don't know what they were what states, but it was just funny.
people do
how that
get
was like a whole
passionate.
drama in Floribama Shore.
That's like a thing that some people have where they say like, yeah, I'm from Philly. Like I'm always gonna like rep for Philly and stuff. But like, I feel like I don't really have that. Like obviously I like where I'm from, but like I don't. It's like I feel like some people have this thing where it's more of like a war. But they're wearing armor and stuff and saying like I'm from Cincinnati. Like do not mess with me and like. They're all like you said at Floribama Shore, like they're just very passionate about where they're from.
Yeah.
So I guess, it's just them.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I was going to say I don't know. Like, yeah, I wouldn't beat someone up for saying, like, Nebraska sucks. I'd just be like, okay, like, obviously we each have our own opinions, so I don't really care.
But, this is something that I've been wanting to talk about on the podcast for a couple of weeks, and it keeps getting pushed off, so I have to mention it. We keep not mentioning it, and it's always been on the list, but I never say it.
Okay, say it.
Couple was forced to sit next to a corpse the whole flight.
Okay, so, like, why'd this happen?
So this is from Melbourne, Australia, all the way to Venice, Italy. So this was a long-ass flight.
I don't know how long that would be, but, like, probably at least half a day, right?
Yeah, so effing long. So a woman died during the flight, R.I.P., Anyway, she died. And this couple was sitting next to the dead girl. And I guess they just put a blanket over the body. So she died. I don't know. That's what also is kind of effed up that I read on Reddit and stuff. Like, people are just dying on planes and they don't even try to do an emergency landing. I guess from Australia to Italy, they're over the ocean, so there's not really an option. But is it a thing where if I have a heart attack on the way from Nebraska to Denver, they just won't even attempt to save me?
No, that flight, I feel like they for sure would. But if you're going, but I feel like if you're going from, let's say you're going from like Chicago to Cancun, I could see a world where if you were having a heart attack and they were 2 hours away from Cancun, but they were like in Mexico, I could see they wouldn't land because like they don't know where to land in Mexico. If it's like Southwest, which I think Southwest is like an American airline, right?
Yeah.
But maybe since I don't know, but maybe that would happen.
But I just wonder was there so much commotion that she die silently? Like I don't wonder what the lead up was, but I guess they just put a blanket over her and they were like, and the couple was like, okay, obviously we're gonna move seats then, and they were like, no, you can't move. But the weird thing is the couple is saying there were spare seats, but they didn't let them leave. So they're saying
why couldn't they leave? I don't really
That's
get
what
that.
now they went to TMZ. This is all on TMZ because they're trying to say like, hopefully we get something from this. Because like they were just forced to sit next to this dead body covered in a blanket and they weren't, I don't know why they weren't able to immediately. Couldn't you picture the flight attendants? Maybe like, I'm picturing if I was a flight attendant, I just handed out all the snacks and stuff and people are still dinging their things, wanting me to refill their wine glasses. And then someone dies and I'm like, oh, shit, oh my God. And like, do you check their heartbeat and then you just put a blanket over them and you're distressed? And then the people next to the dead body are like, what about us? Like, where do we go? I just like, girl, you stay where you are. I'm busy.
Oh, maybe it was
I feel like maybe it was that type of thing.
So much anxiety was on the plane that it just wasn't going to be mentioned.
Yeah, I feel like I would just say, I don't want to talk about like your feelings doing this. Like I'm the one who had to put the blanket over the body.
So when you started this thing, what was the TMZ article? Because you said they sat next to a dead corpse. And then it got me thinking, when does a human turn into a corpse? Like when do people start saying, yeah, it was just a thing of bones. Like, it just is, for some reason, that idea is weird to me that you could be alive 1 minute and then 10 minutes later they would say, it's a corpse. It just, I don't know. It just makes me just think so many things.
I feel like just 10 minutes after the last breath.
Then they start calling you a corpse.
Then you're officially a corpse. Because for those 10 minutes, maybe they have hope and they're like blowing in your mouth and stuff.
But to answer your question about would people know, I kind of feel like people didn't know. There was like one flight that we were on where no one died, but this like never happens on flights, from my experience at least, where someone dings the emergency thing and then like you could kind of tell something's happening. But I swear like most people won't really pay. I guess obviously that's just annoying if you look at them, but most people kind of just minded their own business. They didn't like look behind them and be like, what's happening? Why is there an emergency? So I kind of feel like if something like that did happen, like I could see a world where we've been on a plane where that happened and we didn't know. Because some of these planes are huge.
I know. I've been on a couple planes where they go over the intercom and say like, are there any medical people on board? So like maybe someone did die in those situations.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I have been on a plane like that. Fortunately.
Oh yeah. Well, but yeah, the couple said that in Italy they tried to enjoy the time as best as they could because they were like, obviously we shouldn't let this ruin our whole vacation. So they still like tried the Italian food and stuff, but they were just saying like, hopefully like they at least get a free flight on the way back or something.
What would you do if this happened? Like, would you just be like, that was like a weird, horrible experience? Like, oh my gosh. Or like, would you like try to like be like, this is like, why did we experience this? Or
I think I would actually just move myself. I wouldn't even wait. I would just, if I saw spare seats, I'd be like, I'm getting up and moving.
That's a good point. I think I might do the same. Because I just don't think I'd want to be by a dead body. I'd just be like,
so
oh yeah, I'm just
scared.
gonna move.
I know, because like they'd be allowed to get up to go to the bathroom, so I'd just get up and move. I'd be like, I'm just sitting in a new spot.
Oh yeah, because there's been flights where like no one's on them, so you just go to the seat behind you because no one's even in that whole row, so you can like kind of.
Yeah, I would check first class first to say like, is there anything free up here? And then I would try the other sections, premium economy.
That'd be switching to a whole other class.
I know, because they really wouldn't be able to fight you on it.
Oh, especially if you were sitting next to.
I'd say somebody literally died in my row.
Yeah.
That's sad though. Like that's sad thinking like, so that person was like planning on going on vacation, then they just died, or like I wonder if they were flying to like their death in a way.
What do you mean?
Like they were like, oh, I'm really sick.
Oh,
so
they
I'm
were
gonna, like,
already really ill, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's sad though. Anyway,
yeah, I did want to just mention something. We've probably talked about this plenty of times on the podcast about how people need to be more honest with what they name their stores, boutiques, food places. We ate at this place called Fat Ass, and I just have to mention it because it was they had like birria tacos and stuff. And by the way, it lived up to the name. Like,
this is in Aruba.
We had Fat Ass, and we were like, okay, we all got birria tacos, and it was actually like they can be named Fat Ass because I would eat so much of this, I actually would become a fat ass. It was so good.
I know, that was the best food place we had in Aruba.
But more places should just lean into those themes of just being honest of what it is. Isn't there one of those? I've only seen it in Los Angeles, but maybe it's like a regional chain. What's that burger place called? It's like it's kind of like a fast food type place. It's in Los Angeles. Isn't it just called Fat Burger?
Oh, Fat Burger, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be like it's literally the same thing.
I've always thought that with Earth Cafe in LA. I always thought like it gave very health vibes, Earth Cafe.
Yeah, so I feel like that's just being so honest.
But it's URTH. Is that like another language?
Does that mean something else?
Yeah, I don't know. I always just viewed it as Earth, like planet Earth. And I thought like everything here is like so natural. And that also, whenever you go to Earth Cafe, it's kind of like an indoor-outdoor type vibe, which kind of adds to the Earth Cafe vibes.
Yeah.
And then everything is like so healthy.
So then like Panera Bread, what does Panera mean? Because I was going to say, is that an honest name? Is Panera a type of bread or is that just someone's name?
I don't really know.
Because the bread part makes sense. Because it's like bread bowls, sandwiches.
Oh yeah, remember when I first moved to LA, I would drive like 30 minutes just to go to a Panera Bread.
I feel like when Panera Bread first came out where you lived, like I feel like that's a common experience.
Oh yeah, because it is just a moment. The bread bowls, the macaroni,
and
the pick two.
And they discontinued the sandwich that I think you left with too because you introduced it to me. It was like some turkey.
Smokehouse turkey panini.
And it had, this is when I found out, I used to think this stuff was so gross. Dijon mustard. That's when I found out it has those little beads in it. That's when I found out like that stuff actually can do a lot of things to you.
Oh, that is it enhances a sandwich.
And then I remember people in our family were talking about, it's kind of funny that I like it because the commercials used to make it seem like it was fancy. Like it showed people in a Rolls Royce or something spreading it on a sandwich.
Oh, wait, for Dijon mustard? I didn't know they did that type of marketing.
Yeah, so like it was probably just a joke because it just at Walmart, I think, probably for $5, but it is kind of an upper echelon thing.
Oh my God,
I think it was Dijon mustard, yeah.
That's bougie.
But yeah, if you're creating a business or something, I think you should just say what it is. So yeah, if you're creating like a Gucci boutique, just call it Rich People Boutique.
I know we should just be more simple with the names.
Yeah.
You actually wanted to call some bitches out
Oh, what?
about shirts.
Oh, this is
Call
the
them out.
class.
This is a new segment. Rant time with Jacob. Hey, let's rant, bitch.
Okay, so this is
Just
the
kidding.
so this is the classic thing of the first time I heard this whole ideology was when like these younger people would wear like a Beatles or Rolling Stone t-shirt, and then older people would say like, "Can you even name one of their songs?" You know that you've heard of that whole thing.
Oh yeah, because that was such a vibe in like 2014. Like I remember like Kylie Jenner wearing like just like an AC/DC shirt.
Oh,
or something.
Metallica. It's still such a thing wearing these band tees.
And I actually get it because they just look cool. And it's just cool being like, oh, like even when you go to we went to Australia, we saw in a lot of the thrift stores there was stuff from Nebraska, like Pizza Ranch.
There was a Silver Dollar City t-shirt.
And there was a lot of Nebraska shirts because I think it's just so random that they're like, I want to wear this. Like it's kind of a vibe. So that kind of makes sense. These younger people would be like, Metallica? Like I don't know it at all and I don't plan on listening, but it's just a vibe wearing it.
Yeah, so I always thought what you're saying, like it just is, just wear what you want to wear. I don't even think it matters if you don't know any of it. But then I kind of said this as a joke because our mom was wearing a chill t-shirt, which is like a bear brewed in Aruba. And I said, did you even drink chill when we were in Aruba though? And she said, no. But then I realized.
And then you looked down on her for like a millisecond?
No, because the whole time I was asking that, I was kind of just joking. But I just want to do a PSA being like, so it's actually the opposite of a rant. It's just like, I think people should be able to do what they want to do, I guess.
I think they should be able to.
Yeah, I'm not completely sure though. Like I'm not set in stone on it, but
Yeah,
I think.
No, I get that. It's like I think everyone should be able to wear what they want, but at the same time, I might have to step in at certain points.
Yeah.
That would be the hard part if you were like the emperor of a land. Like I would want to be like, everyone do what you want as long as it's not hurting anyone. But then there'd be certain times I know I would step in.
Oh, what? Oh, like
even if like somebody was drinking so much Mountain Dew, I would just be like, you can't. Like I would just say, I'm sorry, but you can't. And then I might just ban Mountain Dew and they'd be like, well, this is against our rights. But I'd be like, unfortunately, certain things I have to step in. Like I know it's not hurting anyone, but there would be certain things where I would have to abuse my power.
it just gets too much.
Yeah.
With the whole t-shirt thing though, whenever I go thrifting or just at a store that has random tees, I always Google what. No, I actually don't always do that, but sometimes I do. Like
I've been with you at thrift stores when this happens.
Well, I was at like, I got this t-shirt. This is the time I didn't do it. Only as it seems iffy. I got like said like Magnolia Silos, and I didn't know what that was, but I was like, thought it looked cool. It turns out that's this thing in like Waco, Texas that's owned by like these HGTV people. So every time I wear that shirt, I'm wearing an HGTV shirt. But you know,
that.
sometimes when I'm at a thrift store and there's something that's called like, seems something kind of weird. Sometimes I do Google it because I'm like, what does that mean?
You're trying to make sure you aren't doing like something problematic. Like what if you are thrifting and you see this cool graphic vintage tee and then you realize like you're supporting Hitler or something. Like you just never, it is a good idea to Google it because you never know.
Yeah, because even the people that donated it and like they put it, the people like looked over it and put it on their shelf, like they might not even know what it means.
Yeah, because it might be some weird obscure club that like murdered redheads.
But I feel like if that
and like
is
you don't
kind of
know
just
if like
it's kind of a fake thing though, because 99% of the time, like who would have a t-shirt? Like, I mean, that is a thing, but I kind of feel like people that have these t-shirts that are very problematic, they aren't giving them the goodwill. They want to keep they would
shit.
Keep it because they want to wear it and like just really cause a ruckus around town.
Oh, that's true. And also, if you accidentally did wear a t-shirt that like was this club in the 50s that like murdered redheads in Arkansas or something, like you would like I guess that'd be kind of a conversation starter. If somebody was like, wait, you like support that? And then you'd be like, what? And then it'd be kind of a conversation starter. And you'd be like, oh my God, no, I just thought it was cool. There was a redhead on it.
Oh yeah, and then being like, oh yeah, like I didn't know that, but tell me more, LOL.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a good way to just...
I should just eliminate that trait of mine anyway.
Yeah, it just goes to like make mistakes and it's okay, you know?
Yeah.
Like obviously don't purposely support movements that are trying to murder redheads, but...
If you accidentally do, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. People get it. The girls who get it.
Yeah. So previously we've talked about how like I haven't really listened to podcasts recently, but I actually listened to a podcast last week. So I'm kind of evolving and stuff.
This is the first time you've ever listened to a podcast since we started Podcast 2.0, Bro Show?
I guess...
you're on your own.
Oh, yeah, on my own, because we listened to the telepathy tapes before. But yeah, on my own, because but it got into my mind because it was recommended to me on YouTube. I saw Lisa Gunna was on a podcast, this Grindr podcast, and then I was on a walk.
Oh, with Katia?
Yeah, I was listening to it, and I was like, just because I haven't done it in so long, listened to a podcast, I was like, okay, I kind of understand this. Like, because first of all, podcasts are so cool because the microphone aspect of it, I kind of feel like that's one of the big draws to a podcast, is that the audio is so, it's like really, it sounds like the microphone's in their mouth sometimes.
Oh, yeah, it is very pleasing. No background noise, no weird echoes. Usually it's just crisp audio.
Yeah. Really crisp. And it was just funny because I haven't listened to this podcast before, but I probably listened to it more because it was funny. But it's just funny being on a walk in like this random neighborhood in Nebraska and like looking at my phone and the cover of the podcast is like someone's ass. Because it's a Grindr podcast. So the cover is literally someone's ass. So I was just like, for some reason I got insecure, like someone was behind me when I was like flipping through the podcast.
Oh, and I used to, whenever I go to the gym and listen to a podcast, I always would be scared of that too. Like, there's certain podcasts I listen to where the photo is really like weird or it seems, like inappropriate or something. And I was always scared somebody would see me like looking at the podcast and think I was like looking at porn at the gym. And then the police would come, I'm assuming that's illegal. Like, you can't just be doing that in public.
Yeah, but then then you hear that story of Lisa Barlow from Salt Lake. She said that she was on a flight from like New York to Salt Lake City. In the entirety of the flight, there was someone watching porn next door. Do you remember when she said that?
People are that addicted.
She said it was like a kid though, but
oh my God, that's even worse.
It just gets to this thing where it's like, if you are gonna be a porn addict, please don't do it in a plane. Like, cause if I would have been like sitting next to someone, I glanced over and the whole time they're watching porn, and it just makes you uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, because it's just weird if like they're that addicted, like they're not even they're just watching it compulsively. Like they don't even actually want to watch it. It seems like one of the cameras just turned off. That always is a sign we have to get off. Once the cameras overheat, we have to end the podcast.
I know, it's kind of a sign from above. It's kind of like the Lady Gaga Elton John song.
Well, it's good that on episode 40, the 40th episode back, you realize, wait, I get podcast. Like, you're like, I get why people would listen to this.
Yeah, because it hasn't. But I feel like it's one of those things where it's like a habit. Like I haven't fully got the habit, but I feel like people that listen to podcasts, it's because they're in like because they're in the groove,
It sort of is like a porn addict because I feel like whenever people find one podcast, they start thinking, okay, what are the other ones? And they start spreading out saying, okay, I want to explore this area. Okay, anyone got any podcast recommendations? Oh my gosh. And then it turns out they're on a plane watching these podcasts sort of like a porn addict watches porn.
That's true. Everything turns into an addict type thing. Like I read one novel that I love and I'm like, okay, now I need to go on Reddit and find a bunch of other novels I love.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't have enough novels, so now I need to create a whole note list of 50 novels. So then I always have another one to read. So then it just turned into this thing where somehow it's like 5 years later and like you wonder like what happened, but it's like you spent the whole time not reading novels. You spent that 5 years thinking of novels to read.
Oh yeah, that just proves like everything's going to be an addiction. So just choose it wisely,
Choose wisely.
Well, see ya.
Wise men say.